So what I've learned through my life experience is that a toxic situation requires two people, an abuser and an enabler. And they're both at fault. Why? Because they stay around each other. They don't cut each other off. You know, when I was younger, I used to always think the abuser is wrong. And the abuser is wrong. There's no excuse for that. But the enabler, because of their lack of self-confidence, because of their lack of willingness to change and feel pain, maybe because of laziness also, maybe because of a mental disability or mental slowness, the enabler, who is just as wrong, the abuser's wrong, no excuse, and enabler's wrong. Because the enabler knows there's something wrong. I mean, I'm not talking about someone who's so mentally disabled they can't recognize right from wrong. Because if you're that mentally disabled, you should be in a mental institution. You can't have your independence, claim you're an adult, and not be able to make your own decisions. If you can't make your own decisions, you need to check yourself into a mental institution or be put there. Because part of being adult is saying that you recognize right or wrong and you can make the decision. And so these enablers, who are just as much bullies, okay, because their lack of self-confidence creates an environment where people get molested, okay, people get this bad example that they should live in this below average setting. And people who abuse the situation or manipulate it, they know that they're with someone who's weaker. So they know as much as that weaker person may threaten or say I'm leaving, they know they ain't going nowhere. Okay. Why? Because they don't have the self-confidence, they don't have the money, they don't put the effort into their own life, and so they ain't going nowhere. They're going to bitch, they're going to moan, but they're going to go right back. And, you know, if kids are involved, I don't care if they got a roof over their head or not. They're being abused by two people, the abuser and an enabler, and they're being set a bad example. And what I found is that neither one can be trusted, the abuser or the enabler, because neither one of them recognize the need as an adult to create a healthy environment for themselves. They have no self-respect, no dignity, no accountability. They bully themselves into a bullshit life. And you hear it all online. I mean, I've got it on my channel sometimes. There was a narcissist involved. They're gaslighting. You're an adult now. There's no excuse for the abuse, but what are you doing with your life now? What are you doing with your life now? What environment do you have? What standard? What relationship do you have? That's what you got to do to go forward, to heal, to persevere for yourself, for your well-being. You got to push yourself, okay? For your sake, if you're in charge of children or pets. I mean, I can't believe it. It's not even healthy for a pet to go into an abusive situation. Cat, dog, or a rabbit. Why? You're putting all the emotional well-being of that household on that pet. Emotional support pets. And two adults who don't have the emotional maturity to make adult decisions and to create a healthy environment are two babies. And they need a pet to lead their household. Or they need alcohol. Or they need whatever. And so what do I want to tell everyone listening? You're an adult. All my videos are for adults. Cut them off. That's not bullying. They'll try to manipulate. That's not bullying. You cut people off. I know a bully because I fought bullies. A bully is when someone forces their way in your life. They walk towards you, not away from you. They force contact with you. They direct message you, how are you? I know, I sent it right to the FBI. A mature adult decides, I don't want any part of this toxic, unhealthy, immature relationships. I'm walking away. I'm cutting off. I'm going to develop myself away from these family, friends, whoever. And then they get attacked because they're walking away. Have you ever walked away from someone who wants you to stay in their life so they escalate the conflict? And you walk away and they curse you. They curse you because they're so immature. That's why they have abusive relationships, because they won't let people walk away. As much as they bitch and they moan and they hate their life and they blame the other person, they won't go anywhere. They'll never go anywhere. Why? They can spend years in therapy, years in church, years in school. But it all comes down to you got to do the work. You got to do the work of your life, in your career, in your physical life, in your mental, spiritual, every way, financial, every way. And most people, guys, they're going to overeat, they're going to oversleep, they're going to over-therapy, over-school, and over-blame. Okay? They don't want to look in the mirror and say, I'm the biggest bully pushing myself back into bullshit. I blame myself. Now I'm going to talk well to myself and grow out of this situation. They won't do that. They'll blame him. They'll blame her. They'll blame society. They'll blame their childhood. They'll blame everything. Why? Because it's easier. If you're not being abducted, if you're not being stalked, if you're not being bullied, and a bully is someone who forces their way in your life, not cut you off. If that's not happened, and I've been those things, okay? All of those things, and I've walked away in peace, not in conflict, unless someone gave me no choice. Because there was one time, a bully, I was walking away from a bully, and they kept following me, pursuing me, and I punched them right in their shit. And that's not good, guys. Thank God, it was all right, because you don't want to get to that point. And that's why you got to cut off all ties. Why? Because, guys, once it escalates to a certain bad point, even when you're in the right, there's so much drama attached. That's the other thing. Drama kings, drama queens. Guys, toxic situations have one common trait: drama. I hate drama. So there's exceptions, guys, where you try to walk away and people pursue you, etc., people stalk you, etc., etc. But when you, most times, 99% of the time, 90% of the time, just walk away. Cut people off. Change your number. Block people. Walk away. Don't talk to them anymore. Don't let them guilt trip you. Don't let them call you names. Why? It's all a ploy just to pull you back in their drama. And the sad part is that you may feel bad for them, but guess what? They do it to themselves. You got to do what you got to do for you. Your best life as an adult. If you can't make those decisions, you got to go in an institution. And so some people can't understand this intensity, okay? And they may take it as yelling, but they'll sing a lullaby to their suffering. They'll go right back, because they don't have intensity. They go right back to abuse. And the children have to suffer the abuse and the bad example of someone who sings a lullaby to suffering. I refuse. For myself, not for other people. I'm talking to myself. I'm not in someone else's space. And anytime I start to feel I'm in someone else's space and they don't understand, respect my energy, I walk away. I don't escalate. I walk away. I cut off ties. Because I can't win in a toxic situation. I can't win. I'll get blamed. You'll get blamed. Don't get involved. Get uninvolved in their life. Get more involved with your life. Direct the energy back to you. Let them go downhill. You go uphill. You go forward. Because in life, you're always caught in between people. In between parents. In between friends. In between trying to help and trying to maintain your own self. And what I can tell you guys, if you ever get confused, if you ever get caught in BS, just walk away. Cut off ties. They may try to blame you, but they know damn well they ain't got a leg to stand on. They might as well go back to sleep. The best thing you can do is walk away from BS. Don't get caught in BS. Don't let someone define you. Don't follow the example. That may be your parents, that may be your friends, that may be most of society. I believe many in society, guys, They're living this silent suffering. Living with someone that there's not equal respect, that there's not equally yoked. They're just fucking both blaming each other. And they bitch and moan to you about it. I don't want to hear about it. There was a saying one time when I was at this job. I worked with this guy. He was a great guy, but he had problems at home too. Make a mental note. Most people do. And he kept telling upper management that if he doesn't get extra money, he's going to quit. And this went on for months. And I made a point to say, look, I understand what you're saying, but just don't speak for me. Speak for you. Because I don't want to start to handle negotiations by threatening or by bitching too much. Because if you bitch too much, if you threaten too much, you know what they're going to say? This is what upper management basically said to him. They say, hey, look, we heard your complaint, but you got two options. Shit or get off the pot. Meaning that you either deal with it or you leave. No more complaining. You're not being abducted. You're not being forced into slave labor. We're paying you what we believe is fair. You're not forced to be here. You either shit or you get off the pot. You either leave or you shut up. And this is adulthood. Not bullying, adulthood. And if you can't handle that, guys, you're going to blame everyone. If you're not being forced to do something, you can do whatever you want. Don't blame something. You got to make that decision. I hope this video helped you. If it did, click the thumbs up and share it. But I really don't want to hear about your situation because that's your job to figure out, not my job. I thank God years ago the Lord showed me, and sometimes I get corrected. I got corrected recently again. My own fault. I take accountability. Get too involved in other people's bullshit. And you know what I do? Cut them off. Don't bully them. Cut them off. And let them go back to bullshit mentors, bullshit people that tell them the bullshit they want to hear. And I thank God for correcting me. Don't get too involved with people. Let them fucking go through their bitching and moaning right by themselves. They're never going, work on yourself. I'm going back to me. Not blaming anyone else. I'm saying, okay, I should get involved with these motherfuckers. Whoever they are, your parents, your friends, whoever. And I work on me. Take accountability for me. Cut off ties so that you can't get blamed for them. This message is what I've learned through my life experience. They won't teach it in books because most people who are about bullshit, it's good to read books, but these people over school, over therapy, over church, everything, they try to find a magical answer instead of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I am the answer. I'm the adult in the room, not my dog. I love dogs. I love pets. I think they're a blessing, but you know what I mean. I'll see you next one.